1. Permanent Court of Arbitration, The Hague ruling on South China Sea dispute. GS Paper 2, Effect of Policies and Politics of Developed and Developing Countries on India's Interests. What is the context about? The Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, in The Hague, Netherlands, has ruled that China's claims of historical rights over South China Sea, SCS, has no legal basis. What did the arbitration panel rule? The Hague-based PCA ruled that China has no legal basis to claim historical rights to islands in the SCS, and has violated Philippines' sovereign rights. It said Beijing had no historic rights to resources in the waters of the South China Sea and that such rights were extinguished to the extent they were incompatible with the exclusive economic zones provided for in the convention. Why is South China Sea considered so important? The SCS is a busy international waterway, being one of the main arteries of the global economy and trade. More than $5 trillion of world trade ships pass through the SCS every year. The SCS is also resource-rich, with numerous offshore oil and gas blocks. So what is the dispute about? There are a few hundred small islands in the SCS, a part of the Pacific Ocean. Some of the main ones are Spratly Islands, Paracel Islands and Scarborough Shoal, the bone of contention between China and the Philippines. China claims most of these islands as its own. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, the Philippines and Taiwan have rival claims. China has said it will not permit other nations to infringe on what it considers its sovereign rights in the strategically vital area. The US has no claim in the South China Sea, but has been highly critical of China's assertiveness and says it will protect freedom of navigation. When did China start taking this position on SCS? China laid claim to the SCS back in 1947. It demarcated its claims with a U-shaped line made up of 11 dashes on a map, covering most of the area. The Communist Party, which took over in 1949, removed the Gulf of Tonkin portion in 1953, erasing 2 of the dashes to make it a 9-dash line. What is the 9-dash line? The 9-dash line stretches hundreds of kilometers south and east of its southerly Hainan Island, covering the strategic Paracel and Spratly island chains. China buttresses its claims by citing 2,000 years of history when the two island chains were regarded as its integral parts. But Vietnam rejects the Chinese argument, justifying its own claims on the basis of written records, which, in its view, establishes its administration over the area since the 17th century. Beijing and Manila clash on account of their dispute over the jurisdiction of the Scarborough Shoal, which is 160 kilometers from the Philippines.